It was a warm, midsummer's day. A faint breeze swept lightly through the air. Children played in the gardens, giggling and laughing freely. Distantly, an ice cream van tinkled a tune, and mums and dads quickly searched for some money so they could treat themselves to something cool and refreshing when the tune got nearer. Shay was about 6 years old and enjoyed running. His slight, slender frame made him agile and fast. He had long legs and loved chase, his eyes being wide and smiling. Running so fast, he would be quickly exhausted. And so too, he loved laying about, particularly on a hot summer's day. His favourite spot was on the sofa, catching the breeze through the back door from the garden. Shay had been rescued after his retirement as a champion greyhound, previously owned by a morally questionable Irish trainer, had a mixed and vague history. Nick had first met Shay at the rehoming centre and had instantly fell in love with his mottled white and grey coat and his big blue soppy eyes. Having been mistreated for much of his early life, Shay would only respond to a man's voice, taking no notice of Charlotte. He didn't know the rules of being a pet and helped himself to any food left within reach, which for Shay was pretty much anywhere, not in a cupboard. Fully stretched, he was over 6 feet tall and could easily snatch a pork chop from the kitchen worktop, the freshly cut barbecue, burgers and sausages, still hot from the kitchen table, crisps, cakes, biscuits, even a lettuce. Yes, he had a good appetite and obviously learnt to eat anything when he had the opportunity, and it showed itself. He was a good, kind dog though, and for all his flaws, he was loyal and absolutely harmless. Nick and Charlotte had recently given birth to Esme, and Shay loved her too. He was gentle and they would play or have a cuddle on the sofa together. Having got back from a walk, Esme and Shay were on the sofa when the doorbell rang. Him and his arms in, and the driver had left before Nick had got to the door. As Nick opened the door, Shay rushed out from nowhere. No one knew why or what he was running for. And as Shay turned out of sight, a chilling screech of brakes broke the peaceful summer afternoon. As Nick approached Shay's limp body, the fresh scarlet flow glistened on the hot tarmac. The driver, a 50-something-year-old lady, was distraught that she'd been responsible for hitting Shay and was already protesting her innocence. He came out of nowhere, I couldn't have stopped. As Nick lifted Shay from the road, Shay wheezed through a shallow and laboured breathing. Still bleeding, Nick ran back to the house with Shay in his arms. Calling Charlotte to get the car keys, he wrapped Shay in a towel and lowered him into the boot of the car. By the time Nick had arrived at the vet's, blood had seeped through the towel and poured in the boot of his car. He feared the worst. Frantic with worry, Nick watched the nurses and the vet start busily seeing to his injuries, a broken pelvis and a ruptured artery, before laying him on a bed and wheeling him through the doors and out of the consultation room. 6 weeks later, another warm, sunny day. A blackbird sings from somewhere on the rooftop. Nick arrives home from work and opens the front green door. Shay's not there to greet him. The house is quiet, with only the clock for company. It's been a long day, and Nick puts his bag wearily on the floor and goes out to the garden. Shay's laying in the dappled shade of a tree. He looks up to greet him with a wag of his tail and those soppy blue eyes before rolling over and drifting back off to sleep.